Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back down under the mat. We are here in a very chilly Madison Square garage around the pool table of relevancy. This is Mr. Dan Danielson. I am Rowdy Roddy Reece, and we are here to talk about all things professional wrestling. Dan, it's been a good week for professional wrestling this week. We've got Raw, SmackDown, AEW, big highlights to talk about, as well as gearing up for Evolution and Saturday night's main event next week, and Great American Bash for NXT, and All In for AEW. Jesus Christ, there's so much next week.
And there's also the TNA something, isn't there, the week after that?
Yeah, Slammiversary is going to be on.
And then there's also the event with Mr. Iguana versus Santino Marella.
Oh,
that's
my
coming
God.
up. And
so much.
We also watched on yesterday the MCW Ballroom Brawl.
Yes, well, let's kick it off talking a little bit about that. Because
stuff.
I think we both only just tuned in to see if the Tuck Man could go back-to-back in Rumbles. And we were, unfortunately, a little disappointed. Tucky starting number one for the King of the Metro Rumble for PWA and winning, going the full gauntlet. Absolutely loved it. Backing it up in Melbourne for MCW Ballroom Brawl. Starting at number two.
It's essentially the same thing, right?
Yes. Well, we did discuss that on last week's episode. So, yeah, it unfortunately didn't last that long.
And I think as like it was good production on the MCW show. I quite like the way they put their stuff together. It's the first time I've watched them live on YouTube, which was cool. But Melbourne, you've got to get on board with
come on, guys.
That was, I mean,
and like
you saw what PWA did. You saw what Sydney does.
Yeah.
It's an entire crowd of people.
And I just wonder if it's a case of them not being as exposed to Tuckman and the dropouts, because we did chat a bit about that. And as soon as we saw the crowd's reaction to Tuckman, we were like, well, geez, like even Canberra can do better than that. Come on, Melbourne.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a fun event. Obviously, Ugg is their champion. He put on some good stuff. You've had him, Tommy Knight, Ricky South was down there. They were going through the previous winners of the Ballroom Brawl match. They had Jonah Rocks, who's now Bronson Reed, had been there. Buddy was one of their champions last year, Buddy Murphy.
Yeah, very recently, in the last couple of years, he was still champion.
Slex like last year down there.
So. Oh, it was so good to see Slex back. Yeah. I feel like I haven't seen Slex in Australian wrestling for literally the entire year.
Well, he's too busy doing body beers, mate. Like
too busy doing body beers, appearing in Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling.
Yep.
Pretty sure he was on Ring of Honor at one point as well. Like,
if you've seen a professional wrestler, be it a lot of the local Australian talent, if you've seen them. The one that shocked Reece, which was huge, was the guy from Third Eye in PWA.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but dude, his transformation...
Xander something or other.
His transformation since I saw him last at Mounties in, I think it was November last year, to then seeing him at PWA King of the Metro last week, like holy
kilos.
Shit.
It was wild. But if you're obviously WWE fans, look at Bronson Reed and look at the way he's toning up and losing weight. He's still ginormous.
Is he on the Body Biz?
He's on Body Biz.
He's on the Body Biz.
Yeah, man.
We need to get some Body Biz shirts for the podcast.
Slex
I mean, we don't use it, as you can tell. I mean, like I got a baggy hoodie on, so you never know. I could have something hiding under here. It's got the pump cover on.
It's all about your traps. We all know that.
I have been losing weight though. Ever since coming back from Japan, I feel like the food over there is less like processed, less additives, and I feel like it's kind of like reset my gut.
But is that because
I've also
you just
mentally
ate so much you went up and now you're just dropping back to where you were before?
No, I didn't. I don't feel like I ate that much. I didn't snack a lot. I'm a bigger guy. I can admit it.
So can I.
Yeah. But I have lost weight. Even my wife's been like, hey, you've lost weight.
Yeah,
thanks.
Good to know.
Anyway, let's get back on the topic of professional wrestling, and we'll kick it off with Raw. So we got a lot to talk about.
Just before you move to Raw quickly, we've got to wrap up the actual Ballroom Brawl because we wanted to see Tucky win. He couldn't win. There was lots of fun spots in there, but Robbie Thorpe actually went from number one all the way through. Controversial finish in that I can't remember the guy's name.
I'm blanking hard, dude.
He looked like he won, but Robbie had stuck his feet under the ropes and stayed. But what had happened, what got me was...
They played the music.
They played his music like he'd won the match and he was up celebrating, and then the referee was like, no, he's not out. Who pushes the button to play the music?
You made a really good point. We reckon it was Rocky Monero, the general manager of MCW.
Job.
Yeah, inside job to fake him out and then get Robbie Thorpe back on top. he eliminated Slex, his fellow faction member.
From the Icons, yeah.
Yes, moments before he won that Rumble too. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yep, and then he comes back at Bronson United for Slam for us.
Yep.
See him around when he's versing Mikey. No, not Mikey. Who's Vinny versing? Someone good.
Can't remember.
It's a couple of weeks' time. We'll talk about that when Slam comes through.
Yes, we will.
Now we can go talk about WWE.
Okay, now we can talk about it. Kicking off Monday Night Raw this week, Mummy, Rhea Ripley, coming out to cut a promo.
Not talk about Raw then?
No, we have to talk about it because as Australians, it's Mummy, and we have to talk about the fact that we are unhappy with Mummy being in the title picture right now.
It's just boring.
And you mentioned a good point, the fact that this version of Rhea, when she's not properly gunning after someone or trying to get revenge on someone, falls kind of flat.
Yeah.
And this promo, like, it really rang that true because EO comes out and just says, I want to wrestle the best at Evolution. I'm picking you. And Rhea's like, well, if that's your choice, I'm not going to be responsible for what happens at Evolution, and that's going to be on you.
And I feel this leads very clearly into one of the news topic points we're going to talk about.
Yes.
Is that Evolution itself is kind of falling flat.
Yeah, we've got a lot that's started to get booked for that show, but still, we are, as of this recording, 7 days away. We've got a handful of confirmed matches. Venue, State Farm Arena, is currently set up to hold 6,500 for this show. They've currently sold just over 4,000. They've been booked against AEW All In on the same weekend. And there's also, as we found out a couple days ago, a Beyonce concert across the road from the arena.
On the same day, at the same time. Which I'm sure
rough, bro.
Annoys
rough.
half of the talent that would prefer to go hang out and watch Beyonce, but they've got to go wrestle instead.
Yeah.
I think that this, to me, this whole Evolution thing has felt flat, mostly because I think the Liv injury really did throw a spanner in the works. I think they had a bunch of plans and then they had to change the whole lot. And you look at a lot of the stuff online now is that Nikki Bella might not even be wrestling on the show. She's just going to be the host of Evolution because they just don't have something to do. So that kind of falls flat. The women backstage are all sort of a little bit on it because they haven't had the weeks. But this kind of also goes to the point that you've had Night of Champions.
Yep.
You've got a Saturday Night's Main Event. You've got Evolution. Then you've got another Saturday Night's Main Event. Then you've got SummerSlam. Then you've got Clash in Paris. Then there is... Every 14 days or 21 days, there is a pay-per-view right now.
We've got a picture that we sent in the Discord, so we'll post that right here. Like, you look at that schedule for these next couple of months, that is a lot of content for us to digest, and a lot of work for their storytelling as well. Unless
you're booking your feuds interchangeably, so every second pay-per-view, like, years ago, there used to be a SmackDown pay-per-view and a Raw pay-per-view.
Yeah, yeah.
So you had 2 months between it because you could build your storylines between your show. Whereas now it kind of feels like everyone's on every show. They're really brand split. LOL. There's not really much. LA Knight keeps showing up on Raw. And he's definitely not a Raw's map wrestler. But
I think they're moving him.
I would agree. But I think that doesn't give you the time to build the feud and the story. And we go back to the point we started with, which was EO and Rhea. EO just saying, I get to choose who I want. I want to wrestle the best. I want to verse you.
Yeah.
Sure, fine. Like, agreed, Rhea is the best in the division. That is, Rhea versus Io is the best match you can put on.
Yeah.
I just don't care for it. And the fact that with this whole promo that just kind of felt forced and shoved in because, we've got to get to Evolution in 2 weeks' time. We have to start this match out.
Yeah.
They're not giving enough of a story. And the fact that Io at no point said, you have not beaten me before.
And like that,
you've never pinned me. You've never beaten me. We've had matches. We wrestled. We main evented WrestleMania. Well, didn't. We had a great match at WrestleMania that was probably one of the best matches on the card. And I assume, look, this conversation hopefully comes on Raw this week.
Yes, it's got to.
They talk about all their
that history, like that needs to be the main driving factor in this feud.
But it's not. Like right now, it's just, hey, I have the title. You want the title. Let's have a match.
Yeah, but no, Io needs to be smug and be like, you can't beat me. You never have and you never will.
And again, I think the only way, and they played that out in the WrestleMania feud, that Rhea got frustrated, and that's why she made errors, and that's why Io won.
Having that leading up to this Evolution match as well, having a frustrated Rhea, it's got to play into it and make it all more engaging for everyone.
Agree, because right now it's just falling flat, and I think that it's a bit too forced.
Yes.
And we can talk about this in the SmackDown part, but Tiffy calling out her shot on Trish Stratus.
Yeah, wild,
great,
random.
I mean, I know they tagged before, and she's obviously looked up to Trish.
But also, like, who else? Who else?
No, and that's the thing. There isn't anyone else.
We've got the confirmed match for SummerSlam, Tiffy and Jade, so that's not happening. Naomi's now facing Jade at Evolution, so there's no point having Tiffy and Jade face off. Tiffy and Naomi, sorry. Who else have you got at a main event level that can face Tiffy at that pay-per-view? Because she just destroyed Nia Jax in a last woman standing match.
Understand, I agree.
Bianca Belair is out injured at the moment.
But then why do you have to have Tiffy have 3 title defenses in a month?
Yeah, ridiculous.
Because you've got too many shows. Yeah. Like, they're booking themselves into a corner, and I get they're doing the best with what they've got, but to me, it's starting to very clearly show. Because, like we said with the Cena Punk thing, right? The whole thing that I wanted with Cena Punk was their feud.
Yeah.
I wanted their promos, I wanted their promo battles, and they were great when they had them. There just wasn't enough because you started, and 2 weeks later you had your pay-per-view. Whereas now I feel like it's the same with Rhea and Io. It's the same with Tiffy and, Tiffy is going to feud with Trish for the next week or so, have the match at Evolution. But then when that's done,
boom, done.
She's got 2 weeks to feud with Jade.
Yeah, and all it's going to be is like, I'm going to beat you. I'm the queen of the ring. No, I'm going to beat you. I'm the champion.
Yeah. And then
I don't feel like there's any substance behind it, and that's the problem.
Yes, I 1,000% agree.
Yeah, all right, let's keep on the topic of Evolution. Roxanne has officially become tag team champion with Raquel, and she's now in the Judgment Day, and they will be facing 3 other teams on the Evolution card, one of which was confirmed on SmackDown, Charlotte and Alexa Bliss.
Which I liked.
Yes, I like that. The other rumor is Sol Ruka from NXT. Assume they're going to be having a match on NXT this week to determine who will actually be at Evolution. Because they've not officially announced it. We saw a match predicted card, and it looked to be fan-made.
It looked to be fan-made, but I got
accurate. Yeah, I got. Who was the Raw tag team?
Natalia and
Maxine. The Dungeon Dolls. Nah, scratch that. Put the Kabuki Warriors
Thank you.
in.
Back to tag team Asuka. Right where you belong.
Just thought I'd get that out there early so you can shut up about that.
If that happens, mate, you're going to get so many texts. The second that they announce the tag team match for the Raw side of it, and then you hear the Kabuki Warriors come out, they're done.
My phone's just going to blow up from Dan just ranting at me.
Constantly.
We've also got a battle royale for the women confirmed for Evolution, with the winner receiving a title shot at the champion of their choosing.
At Clash in Paris.
At Clash in Paris, which is a very long way away, and I feel like it's
it's not. It's a
too
month.
early.
It's the end of August.
It's like 7 to 8 weeks away.
But like we just said, you've got Evolution, you've got Saturday Night's main event, then you've got SummerSlam, then you've got another Saturday Night's main event, then Clash in Paris.
You know what? It may as well just be for the other champion for SummerSlam, because it's mere weeks away.
Which would mean that they'd have to win.
And rumor is it's going to be Stephanie Vaquer that wins, and then you could have possibly Stephanie versus Rhea or Stephanie versus Io for SummerSlam. Much better idea.
I don't mind that at all. But I mean, if you're going to do it in Paris, then it's probably like I was trying to think: is there any European? Is it a Lyra? Is it a Becky?
No, they're intertwined in the Intercontinental title picture.
Yeah,
it's dumb having them in that as well.
Is it dumb?
Yes, it is dumb.
Well,
it is dumb.
I don't know how many people's in this battle royale.
I don't know. I assume it's going to be about 20.
So this is where you get like your
I figure that's a normal battle royale number. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to have some legends in that match, and that's going to be a good way to get them on the card.
Yep, and maybe your LFG women that nobody knows about, they just get shown up on the card, and that's where they get into the ring with someone. Like, okay, all right, look, fine. Like I think it's a good idea in premise to put that on the show. I just don't know if, like you said, booking the title win to be at Clash in Paris makes sense, but sure.
Depends on who they got in mind for the victory. Great, winning at Nia versus Naomi.
It's great. Jade.
Great.
I love the both of us. Like, it's not Jade.
No, it's not Jade, because if you've been watching, you know our theory. Judgment Day. While we're still somewhat on that topic, brand new tag team champions. And this was a very interesting match, pitting 2 heel tag teams against one another and then having one of them get cheered over the other.
Which was going to be the New Day, right?
No, we hate the
Judgment Day. I think the Judgment Day could turn face, but more tweener face than actual face.
Yeah, it's a really odd situation.
His name is Dom. We all love Dom.
Yeah.
We've gone from booing him out of the building, not letting him speak, to now we really want him to keep like being like, even the way that like when they're asking him to vote, he's like, I better ask Liv, and Finn's like, no, you do it. And then what did he say? Allegedly, yes.
Allegedly.
It's so good the way that Dom's character is.
And his interactions with AJ Styles backstage as well.
Doctor's note,
just like right in his face. I assume it's not confirmed where that match is taking place yet. It has not been confirmed for Saturday night's main event yet, but I assume it's going to be SummerSlam.
Dom AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But for the tag match, look, this was a good match. I mean, obviously 4 really good tag team wrestlers, they can put on a good match. Weird that Woods was in trunks. I think we both said it's the first time I've seen him in trunks.
Yeah.
The New Day, I think, and hear me out here, I think that the New Day's heel turn has probably been one of the biggest fumbles of Triple H's booking.
Yep.
Because that
so much
original
potential
turn on Big E was phenomenal. Before that, do you remember the backstage promo that Woods and Kofi had where they were yelling at each other when they were trying to like cause the dissension? That was phenomenally good. And then they come out and everyone thinks that they're going to break up, and then it's the celebration, and then Big E comes out and then they both turn on him. That was one of the best heel turns that they've ever done.
And the fact that we have had nothing happen since regarding those 3.
It's just
criminal.
It's
criminal.
It was here. You were right
it
there.
Tanked so hard.
So look, I'm not mad that they lost the tag titles. I put them all on Judgment Day. Let's run this story with them having all the titles again. They did this, a year ago. They did it 2 years ago. They did it 3 years ago. They've done it forever. But I think there's more value in that than whatever they were trying to do with the heel day, because the
it just wasn't resonating.
I don't think you turn them face again. I think
good heel tag team, but it's just like, the story was just like them winning the titles at WrestleMania was unexpected and kind of flat, to be honest.
Yep.
And then from there, they just didn't do anything.
Yeah, it sucks because I think Kofi and Woods deserve better. I think they are a very good heel tag team, but it kind of also goes to the point that Raw just doesn't have a good tag division right now.
Yeah, we're going to have a SummerSlam prediction video coming out in the next week, and that was one of the hardest matches for me to predict, the Raw tag titles.
Yep.
And what I've booked is
it's probably as average
purely
as
for my benefit because I wanted to get more people on the card.
Okay.
Moving on, I just want to bring up Rusev versus Sheamus. Did you watch the full match?
I did. And
Bro,
then
absolute slobber knocker.
It was big meaty man slapping man.
That's exactly what we wanted. And we got it.
The finish I didn't like all that much, where he just drags him into the turnbuckle and then he taps out to the accolade. Or did he tap out to the accolade? Or did he just pass out to the accolade?
I can't remember.
Rusev won, which I think is good.
Yes, I definitely think that he needed that victory more than Sheamus. And I feel like that's not going to be it. That can't be it for them to.
I think they'll keep going with... I mean, I don't want... Someone pitched, I saw online that, like, let's give him a best of 7 series like Andrade and Melo had. No. I don't.
You know what? I was literally about to mention that.
No, thank
because they did that with Sheamus and Cesaro back in the day,
Yep.
which led to them forming the Bar. So I was like, just do something similar and then Sheamus and Rusev can be the new Bar. I would like to see them as a tag team, though.
Oh, yeah, but
I think they'd work.
They would work as a
Bring
tag
back
team.
the League of Nations.
But the problem is...
I said it.
Sheamus is a face and Rusev is a heel. So who do you turn?
Well, I feel like we could turn Rusev pretty easily.
Could we?
Yes.
But he's like...
Working with Sheamus, give him some odd comedically timed actions.
I don't think that fits what Rusev is trying to be. Yeah. I could see them as a tag team, but I don't know if the characters work right now.
We could get it to work.
And I also totally forgot that match even happened on Raw.
Well, you're lucky I brought it up.
Thank you.
Moving on. El Grande Americano. Reportedly out injured, but he did make a little backstage appearance.
There was never
Adam Pearce thought that we would not be seeing El Grande Americano anytime soon because he is delusional and thinks that because Chad Gable is going to be out injured, that meant El Grande Americano will be as well.
It's completely unconfirmed.
Yes. And we saw him backstage. Kind of shocked American Made a little bit, but I feel like they knew their boss was going to be there and he was not going to disappoint the fans.
And I feel like he's not going to talk because there might be an accent that would ruin this character. So let's not do that at all. Let's just have him silent again.
Putting aside, like, playing along with the story, Never in my wildest dreams did I think Ludwig hiding behind Chad Gable and American Made in these backstage vignettes would lead to him donning the Americano outfit.
It's so good though.
It's so funny because it works. Like, they're, albeit like height difference wise, they're built kind of similarly.
Yeah. I mean, the height's
works.
the thing. Could you just imagine Gunther? Like, I really hope at some point you just have Gunther walk backstage and sort of just look at him.
I just feel like, know how the mighty have fallen.
Because we all know. We all know.
Let's move on to Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Gunther, B&B Security. That whole main championship scene at the moment. We had Gunther come out and shit on Goldberg for a couple minutes, get interrupted by Seth Rollins to, I can't even remember what he promoted about. I got the briefcase. The title's mine. Insert
also
comments.
Sick custom briefcase. Big fan of
yes. Both Money in the Bank competitors.
Do you think though
got new briefcases this week?
I've always had my mind blown from when you told me a while ago that Seth's Titantron, all the colors, matches whatever he's wearing as it comes out.
That was a revelation, dude.
That's so good. When you notice that and you see it and like his music hits and it's like a green thing, you're like he's coming in a green suit. It's gonna be fun.
I love it.
Is he gonna change the briefcase every time? Because he was in black.
You know, I briefly thought about that for a second on Monday when I was watching it. I was like, hey,
I wouldn't be against it.
That'd be cool.
Imagine the merch. Like it's like John Cena
just
flipping out his shirts.
Just roll out briefcases every week. Love it. That's great. Anyway, back to the segment. Seth and Gunther then get interrupted by CM Punk, who's still got beef with Seth because cost him the title at Night of Champions. Comes out, beats him up a bit. Seth runs away like a little coward. Punk goes to leave, bumps into Gunther. Gunther grabs him actually, and then pushes Gunther down. So that's setting something up for sure.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Watch our SummerSlam predictions. You'll see. And while Punk had left, Gunther was on the floor in the middle of the ring like a little bitch. Seth gets attacked from behind by LA Knight.
Yeah.
Match confirmed for Saturday night's main event next week. Seth versus LA Knight.
Cool. Okay, just keep progressing the story. It's fine.
Cool. Yeah.
With the whole Gunther Punk thing, my trepidation to this is that if we
Is your boy not getting the title?
Well, no, Punk's not winning the title. That's fine. My worry again is that we're going to keep teasing Seth, but Seth teasing the cash in to stop Punk winning, not to take the title, which kind of defeats the purpose of what the Money in the Bank is for. I also would be worried that if that happens at SummerSlam, that is also the same story that we have with Naomi cashing in on Jade, assuming Jade beats Tiffy, then Naomi cashes in straight away.
Yeah.
You have Punk beat Gunther and then Seth cashes in straight away. It's the same story at the same show. I don't think that's going to happen. So that kind of puts the whole Seth thing up in the air more with me. I think Seth...
Which is fair.
I think Seth keeps this and cashes in on Cena. Because I think that the better story for all of this is that Cena is going to take the title. I mean, maybe unless he loses to Cody at SummerSlam and they do the double turn, which I also love that idea. But if that doesn't happen and Cena's going to walk out of the company with the title, then Seth cashes in to keep the belt and save pro wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't think that Seth cashing in on Punk is the right story. I think those two have enough of a feud without wasting Money in the Bank on it. Because you did that last year. You had Drew absolutely goddamn waste the Money in the Bank win because of his feud with Punk.
Yep.
Don't do it again this year.
No, thank you. Moving on to the main event of the evening, B&B Security against Sammy and Penta. Claiming the victory, but Jey Uso comes out to make the save after the match, obliterating people with a steel chair. How does this factor in for the future storyline? You'll have to tune into our SummerSlam predictions to find out.
You're really plugging that video. I like it.
I don't know. I just don't have anything else to say on the matter. I feel like it was... Because at the moment, Jay's just cannon fodder now that he's lost the title, and I don't know where he's going to fit into that roster from now on once all this Seth Rollins B&B Security thing is done and dusted and resolved.
I think the booking for this needs to move Jey and Sammy back into a tag team and into the tag team division. Like we just said before, the tag team and Raws suck.
Yeah.
I don't want to see them feuding with Judgment Day again because, God, we've seen that so many times already. But that division needs a change. And if you put the titles back on Sammy and Jay, then I think that's probably what you've got booked. All right, fair enough. But I think that's probably a smarter way to play that. It keeps them away from Seth and that sort of stuff, and you can have the main event separate. You put some top quality stars back in that tag division to make sense.
Yeah.
Because I don't see the Sammy and Karrion Kross stuff going any further. I don't.
Well, rumor is Karrion Kross contract is up within a month and it's not been renewed. So we might be seeing the second departure of Karrion Kross from WWE.
The theory a lot of people would say is, well, if they were going to release him, they wouldn't put him in a match at Night of Champions with Sami Zayn. But also, you released R-Truth the week after you put him on a Saturday night's main event against John Cena. So,
yeah. And it'd be even more perplexing seeing as how well Karrion Kross's merch is moving at the moment as well.
R-Truth's merch was moving too.
Crazy. Stupid.
But yeah, I don't care too much for Sammy and Jay and all this. This is just fun TV with them and B&B Security.
Yeah,
and Seth. There's no storyline going forward. It's just let's all feud, let's all put on good stuff and have fun. It's kind of, I feel like this is what you had with KO, Sammy, and the Bloodline years ago. Was just every main event, end of Raw, good matches, chaos, a whole bunch of stuff happening. What happens next week? And that just seems to be what it is now.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're going to move on to AEW before we start touching on some SmackDown stuff. Kicking off the show, Hangman Adam Page cutting a promo in the ring, calling out Jon Moxley and saying, if we're going to do this at All In, give me Texas death.
Well, because it's in Texas.
Well, yes, it's in Texas, and they're going to have a death match.
And they're the Death Riders.
Yeah. I didn't make that
It
connection.
all makes total sense.
It makes sense now. I think this is going to be a really good match. I think it's really cool to put that stipulation on the match because we both know how much those two competitors can just absolutely cut loose in a match like that.
Oh, and cut their eyebrows and cut their blade their face and cut everywhere else.
Lots of blade.
Jon Moxley is going to blade within 30 seconds of this match.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. I think the thing that you sent me, I think, was somewhere online where someone was comparing this to the WrestleMania 40 Bloodline Rules match.
Yeah.
In that you've got, the face of the company trying to take the title away from the champion who's held it hostage for so long. Both ex-elite people versus ex-Shield people. Like, that all lines up. The fact that it's a Texas deathmatch means literally anything goes. So you're going to get into run-ins from everybody. You're going to get the Death Riders involved. You're going to get the Elite involved. You're going to have Ospreay and Swerve come out. It's just going to be the whole Team AEW versus Team Death Riders. It's going to be insane. But I think, like you said, that's what we want, right? Yeah. I think we want a proper resolution to this Death Riders thing that showed so much promise at the start. When you first you've had the Blackpool Combat Club and everything they did, and then they turned into the Death Riders when they choked out Daniel Bryan with a plastic bag.
Oh, I'm fully ready for Daniel Bryan to come back.
Oh, for sure, he'll be there. Absolutely.
And put a plastic bag over Jon Moxley.
Yep, for sure.
And that's one of your closing moments of that match.
And I think this
comes full circle.
This has to go ballistic. And I know you've got WWE trying to counterbook this as much as they can with NXT and Evolution.
I'm really over it, to be honest, man. Because then that gives us, we've now got 4 pay-per-views that we have to watch next week.
Don't remind
it's
me.
fucking ridiculous. I'm already cutting NXT out. I'm sorry. I'm already cutting that out.
Yeah, sure. You're the NXT boss around here, so you tell me.
Evolution's going to be on a Monday for us Australians, so that's going to be a
after work on
interesting situation. No, I'll probably just
work from home for the day. My boss doesn't watch. It's fine.
I don't think any of my people that I work with watch either.
But yeah,
no one else likes wrestling at work except me.
With the Hangman stuff, I think that if you just put Hangman and Moxley into a match, even if it was just a Texas death match between the two, I think it would be great. You obviously the stuff that you saw with Hangman and Swerve has been fantastic. Everything you see Moxley do, jamming bloody those pins and needles and stuff in his head and stuff.
Skewers.
The skewers. They will go crazy.
They're going to go absolutely ham, dude. I can't wait.
I just hope that Tony Khan, when he looks at this match, says, let's end this feud. Let's have the most ridiculous, crazy finish to this entire thing we can have. You can have Darby Allin come back. You can have Bryan Danielson come back. You can have everything you want.
Only to then run back Hangman and Moxley at All Out next month. Because that's what they do. They do it all the time.
Do you know what will be funny? No, I don't even know if I think it'd be funny. It'd be shocking, but it'd annoy me. You have Hangman win. Hangman beats Moxley.
I really hope that before you continue, I really hope that theory, the fan theory about Hangman opening the briefcase.
That's the three I was going to, yeah.
It's empty. Opening the briefcase, it's either empty or there's just pieces of the belt in there.
I was empty.
I would love the closing shot of that pay-per-view. Hangman's done it. He's done it. Opens the briefcase. You can just see the expression on his face change. And then he picks up pieces of the AEW World Championship.
Shattered, yeah.
Shattered, and then he just like drops it back in the briefcase. And then we don't see a new belt until Dynamite that week.
Or even after that or something, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be a bit of a cop-out if Tony Khan comes out straight away with a brand new championship.
Oh, yeah, no, you can't do that. Can't do that.
I mean, it's the most likely scenario if that does happen.
I also wouldn't mind, but I can't think of who it would be. Would be that somebody else has stolen the belt, and then that's who
MJF.
That's who I thought it would be. But it's like, but he's with the.
I know he's completely unrelated to this, but it's MJF.
That's how you get him, and he has the title belt.
He wins the Casino Gauntlet because he's in that. He's number 2. He wins the Casino. Oh, look at us cooking for AEW for once. I love it. Love it. Moving on, we mentioned Ospreay and Swerve. Interesting stipulation has been added to their title tag team match with the Young Bucks at All In, whose EVP titles were already on the line. So if they lose, they're no longer EVPs. Swerve and Ospreay have put in something to sweeten the deal. If Swerve and Ospreay lose, and this was Ospreay's decision first, and then there was a little back and forth between him and Swerve, whether they actually agree to this. If Ospreay and Swerve lose, they cannot challenge for the AEW Championship for 12 months.
Well, I think, to me, that now says that the Bucks are winning this match because...
Well, I thought about it the other way first, but you raised some interesting points.
Well, I also want to add to my other interesting points. So I think my interesting points are that if you take Swerve and Ospreay out of the world title scene, you can then put some prestige back on the mid titles. You can get the TNT stuff. You can put it against the Intercontinental, or whatever they're going to call the...
Well, it's the AEW Unified Championship.
Sure. They can go for that because that's not the world title.
Yeah.
Because they technically want to make that a equivalent
but
world
it's not
title.
Yet.
But it's not. The other thing that happened during the week, I'm pretty sure I heard that TK had said they're going back to Wembley.
Yes, I think he has definitely confirmed Wembley next year for All In.
So where does Will Ospreay win his first world title in AEW?
A full calendar year after. Oh, dude, that just...
There's your story.
There's your story.
So he can't do it for a full 12 months. And he can go on the best winning streak you have ever seen in your life, but he just cannot
get that world title. That's genius, dude.
And then 1 year's time from when he won it All In.
And it's got to be... the date has to be after.
Then 1 year's time is the next All In, and that's when Ospreay gets the world title. You're welcome.
I'm on board. The only other thing I wanted to talk about from AEW, well, 2 things maybe. Hurt Syndicate and their whole angle with Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight kind of fell a bit flat to me. They got attacked multiple times, and then Hurt Syndicate would walk away, and then they'd come back and beat him up again, and then they'd walk away and come back and beat him up a 3rd time. Mm-hmm. Walk away, come back and beat him up a 4th time. Like, too many times, dude.
So...
Too many times.
My comment to this is how much I feel that Speedball Mike Bailey and Josh Alexander have gone from the big fish in the small TNA pond into the little fish in the big AW pond, and they're meaningless now. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like Speedball... When he was in TNA and when he got to, have his matches at like Maple Leaf Pro and over in Evolve and stuff, like you'd be like, look at this 5-star match that this Speedball's going to put on with Ospreay, with Okada, with Takeshita, with Josh Alexander, with whoever else they could throw at him.
Yeah.
Like he was an attraction event, was watching that Speedball match on that card. Now that he's on like Dynamite and Collision, I don't care.
Yeah. And I think the major problem with that was also having big men like Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin beat down the 2 smaller guys 4 times.
Surprise.
And then have them get back up every time. Come on. I get the whole underdog story, but that was a little excessive.
I feel, and look, this is probably the WWE mark in me saying it, that the talent feels like they get a lot more opportunities in AEW to do what they want to do, and that's why they like to go there. but I don't think AEW has done anything to make Speedball or Josh Alexander or Ricochet seem... I mean, Ricochet, they've given him an actual character.
Yeah, and I think Ricochet having an actual character, as much as we like to hate him sometimes, it's much better than what we got in WWE.
You need to buy his T-shirt to put on the podcast.
I'm like balding. Fresh bald today. It's nice and smooth up here.
I just feel like that they have so much talent in the ring, but I feel like AEW have done such a strong job of getting every 5-star wrestler in the world, and then as soon as there's 25-star wrestlers, they're all 4-star wrestlers because everything is now like
3-star Okada.
Perfect example. Okada was a 5-star machine in New Japan. Maybe he's gotten a bit older and he sort of cared a little less, but I just feel like he hasn't hit the heights that he used to hit.
Yeah.
And I don't think Speedball has yet. I don't think Josh Alexander has yet because he's not getting much chance with the family. But I just feel like when you have 20 of these top-tier wrestling superstars, when everything's good, nothing's good, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it kind of dilutes the product a little bit.
Well,
when everyone's like, oh, this is such a good match. And I think this has always been my problem with AEW, stepping back years and years and years. I get... Compared to WWE in-ring wise, it is amazing wrestling. But when everyone hypes up nearly every segment or every match on every show, it's draining. Especially when someone might go into a show with high expectations and then they get let down.
What's your favourite food?
I fucking love pizza and burgers.
Pizza. So if you had pizza for dinner every night.
I get over pizza pretty quick.
And if you had pizza for lunch every day?
Yeah, that's too much.
Would you be sick of eating pizza?
Yeah, probably. Maybe. I don't know. Just test this theory.
Okay, let's test it. We're going to eat pizza for the entire
week. One week. Pizza for lunch and dinner every day. See if I'm sick of pizza by the end of the week.
Man, my toilet will be sick of me if I ate that much cheese. My God.
I don't have any lactose intolerant because I'm not a...
Oh, no, never mind. But I just feel like I would be on the toilet a lot if I had that much pizza.
Yeah, maybe. Depends what type of pizza. And I think that's a good...
Like deep
going
dish?
Off on a whole other tangent.
Did you
have so many varieties of burgers and pizzas. You can... break it up a little bit. Like you can have like some triple cheeseburgers, then you can have a nice delicious chicken burger.
You can have a beef brisket burger too.
Beef brisket burger. You can have like a coleslaw and chicken burger. Like the Kingsley's one. I had a Kingsley's.
Oh, Kingsley's is the best.
No,
so good.
so good.
But like, did you have the Domino's pizza with like the party pies in the crust?
No, I haven't.
I didn't have those. I was going to try that. I've had the hot dog crust once. Cheesy crust is obviously...
cheesy crust is top tier.
When you're feeling a little bit bougie and want to spend extra.
When are we talking about wrestling? I'm talking about pizza. When they used to do, I think it was Domino's or Pizza Hut, used to do the like cheese in between the two layers of the base.
Yes, I remember that, yeah.
Cheese overload. Loved it.
I love the cheese pizza.
Destroy my bowels. One last thing from AEW I want to touch on before we move back to WWE and SmackDown. Toni Storm was ringside watching Mercedes Moné have her 1,000th match against Mina Shirakawa. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of out of the loop on what's going on storyline-wise with Toni Storm at the moment because I was incredibly perplexed about the fact that she was just sitting there catatonically staring during the match. And like Mina and Sasha Mercedes would be fighting over here on the right. And Toni Storm still just like staring dead straight. Can anyone explain to me what the hell's going on?
Well, didn't you say she was having like a fancy nice dinner?
Well, yeah, she had like a steak dinner in front of her and didn't touch it.
Is it because
there was also a cake there for the 1,000th match?
Is it because she was staring off because she wanted to eat pizza? Is that what it was?
There weren't enough hot dogs at ringside.
Tony wanted more pizza.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't see what the correlation is between the last I saw of Toni Storm and that.
Look, again,
do you know?
I don't know. I have no clue around the character.
Put it down in the comments. Let us know.
Please.
What have we missed on Collision?
The problem that I'm going to have with this is that every match Mercedes has been good. She's good in the ring, right? I think she's been good and she hasn't botched, despite Chris saying that she botches her finish all the time. And look, it's not the best finish. I get it.
It really depends on the stature of opponent that she has.
I think Tony will take it fine. And I think that Tony, when she's been given big matches, has delivered in all of those.
Oh, absolutely.
The Mariah and Tony Hollywood ending match was probably one of the best women's matches I've seen.
That's probably going to be my women's match of the year, to be honest.
It'd be hard to beat, to be fair. So you're going to get a really good match between the two of them, but I think the problem is our expectation is that it's going to be a good match between the two of them. So they're not going to be able to over-exceed what we want because we expect so much.
I'm not going to expect much. All I'm expecting is Mercedes winning. Oh. I'm not going to set my standards too high and be disappointed by that match. I'm just going to go in expecting Mercedes to win, and then I'm going to try and enjoy the match from there. Because I really don't see how Mercedes doesn't win with how they've been booking her.
I want Tony to win.
I would love that. I would love that too, dude. But I just don't know if that's the way that they're going to pull the trigger for Mercedes' first loss.
Well, she hasn't.
First pinfall loss.
Hasn't she?
She
lost
didn't
titles?
technically lose.
Oh,
she didn't get
got
pinned. Yeah,
That's
she
right.
didn't get pinned in that New Japan Pro Wrestling Women's Triple Threat match that happened.
Yeah.
So she's not been pinned in a long time.
And a lot of people also complain about this, which we have a lot with her having creative control. I've seen a lot of stuff from Sean Ross.
Mercedes Hogan.
I've seen a lot of stuff from SRS this week in Fightful and stuff, like fighting people on Twitter that she does not have creative control. She does not make the booking decisions.
If SRS is saying it, cool. I like to joke about it. I don't think a lot of people actually have that like full creative control these days.
I think she has the influence. I think she has the influence to say, this is the story that I would like us to have, and I want to win all these titles and do this belt collector storyline, and this is how it should look. But then at the end of the day, it's on Tony Khan and the others to be like, yes.
Yes.
If they
exactly.
don't want her to, they don't
can say no.
her to.
Yeah.
So as much as we as the internet wrestling community like to, blame Mercedes for it, it's not really her fault.
No.
It'd be the same, like if I'm Roman Reigns, if I'm Seth Rollins, if I'm whoever, I say, you know what the best storyline would be? Me main eventing WrestleMania and being the champion. That's the best thing to do. Because of course it's what I want.
Yeah.
Why would I not book myself into that position? So, yeah. Look, I think it'll be a good match. I'm worried that we're going to overbook how good it's going to be because of the quality of the resumes of both these women.
No, I'm not going to go in overbooking it.
Okay.
I'm going to...
That makes fun of us.
Yeah. It's going to be a good match, but I feel like my mentality is to shit on Mercedes, so that will immediately lower my expectations. So hopefully my expectations are superseded. Anyway, moving on to SmackDown, kicking off the show. Royal family. Cody Rhodes, kicking off the show.
Did you see the tweet from Damian Priest?
Oh,
about the 4th of July.
The 4th of July fireworks.
All the fireworks in America for the 4th of July. And Damian Priest's like, I'm so glad they got Cody Rhodes.
Then Rhea's response was like, that's so funny. Whoa! Cody Rhodes comes out, gets interrupted by Randy Orton. I feel like he didn't really say anything. Unless, I don't know, the wife was like making cabinets next to me while we were trying to watch, and I was eating delicious Costco double chocolate chunk cookie. Boom, boom.
No, we're not doing it. I don't want the RZA on this show anymore. Oh, don't do that. I swear to God, they're going to shove it all in, and I'm going to want to kick that little kid in the face.
I'm totally going to buy that little toy for you. Just to bug you.
Just throw
just
it
to
against
piss
the
you off.
wall. Stupid Rizzler.
Randy comes out. Can't even remember what he says. I was too flabbergasted by the fact Drew McIntyre was back. Even though that got spoiled just after Raw had gone off the air, because SmackDown was pre-taped this week. And thank God it's 2 hours now.
Yep.
That was so much more easily digestible to watch
glad.
SmackDown this week.
I'm very glad it was pre-taped so they could pipe in crowd noise because
Apparently everyone left. Anyway, a lot of people are not liking the comments from Drew McIntyre about them two being beta males and him being an alpha male, and it's very Andrew Tate of him apparently.
Oh, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I didn't mind it. Like, we love Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
His shirt was awesome.
I mean,
bought at work.
Also a guy that walks around in a kilt or a skirt at work. He's totally alpha male. Let him go.
And the
He's
fact
fine.
that like we had no issues with Pat McAfee calling Brock Lesnar the alpha male of our species. Like, I mean, that's a lot more believable.
Did you see Drew dancing at Jinder Mahal's wedding?
Yes.
Like,
yes, I
did.
did.
The three-man band reunion and Drew involved. Like, it was great stuff.
Loved it. Drew talking to Cody, telling him he wants Cody to beat Cena because there's a lot of history between Drew and Cody, and they need to run it back.
Yep.
They need to get that feud done so he can beat Cody for the world championship.
And that was also the rumor as to why Drew was drafted to SmackDown, was essentially to feud with Cody, and then all this other stuff happened beforehand. So now maybe we're just picking this up 6 months late, which I'm all for.
No, I'm all for as well. Drew says that Randy likes to hesitate.
Well, he said that,
and then boom, RKO out of nowhere.
Because essentially
Perfect
that's
timing.
what
Perfect
we
timing.
had said last week, right? When we wrapped up their match at Night of Champions, was that Randy hesitated because Randy did come out and said that I was this close to kicking your skull in and kicking your head off, and he didn't do it. And then Drew said that.
Yeah.
Cody, you didn't hesitate. when the opportunity came, you took it. Whereas Randy hesitates, RKO.
Yeah.
I think this all continues that storyline that we've talked about with Cody slightly going heel. You could see Cody's face when Randy left the ring.
He looked scared of Randy. And I think that's because Randy sees through his bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, he knows what Cody's doing. Cody is meticulously planning everything.
Because he's turning heel at SummerSlam. It's a double turn.
Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton has been made official for Saturday night's main event.
Yes.
And I feel like, given the time frame, that will carry on through to SummerSlam.
Yes. I would say, spoiler alert for our SummerSlam video, but I feel like the Saturday night's main event will have some form of shonky finish and we'll run it back.
And I feel like this is the problem with Saturday night's main event and Evolution next week. By that time, 3 weeks out from SummerSlam, we're going to see a lot of the same matches from card to card.
Yep, I think so.
So don't get disappointed if they don't book some magic match that you've cooked up, because they're just going to run it back from those two events. We've already talked about Alexa and Charlotte advancing to the Evolution Tag title match. The Wyatt Six won their 8-man tag match against one member from each of the other 4 teams from SmackDown.
Cool.
Which was a very interesting situation. Johnny Gargano turning on Chris Sabin.
I wouldn't say
I was going to call him Chris Shelley.
It's definitely not his name.
Well, no, but like I feel like it was a very odd situation to put one member from 2 face and 2 heel tag teams together as a 4-man tag, but they worked really well together throughout that entire match. So that's why I stated it as him turning, because they were cooperating for a short amount of time.
I think what this has done, and I think that it served its purpose, was it booked the Wyatts across to be the dominant faction in this tag team division.
The menacing tag
We
teams.
all have said for a while that this is the best tag team division around, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And the Wyatts, in terms of Loomis and Gacy, are not as good as the Street Profits or DOI or Fraxium or anything like that. Why would you keep giving them title opportunities when there's better teams around?
Yeah.
Because they work better as a faction. You have this point where they work well as a unit to take apart the other individual teams. And I think the perfect selling for this to me was Johnny gets up in the ring, he's like, tag, and he just sees Rowan. And he looks at how big Rowan is and the fact that he was just put down by a DDT, and he just stands back up. And Johnny's like,
I'm good.
No, you know what? I'm out. No, thank you.
Yeah.
And so that's when he steps away. Puts over Eric Rowan as a beast, because he's bigger than all these dudes. He is the dominant part of what the Wyatt Six is. Uncle Howdy is clearly the leader, but Rowan is the one that does the big double crossbodies. He's the one that flattens everybody out. Like, if you want the dominance of the Wyatt Six, it's based off what Eric Rowan does for them.
Yes.
This bit of the match sold it, because A, Johnny is scared of him. B, Sabin then just got choke slammed to hell out of it.
Oh, I love that choke slam.
And was done. That puts Rowan over, which puts the Wyatts over, which means everybody else now has an actual reason to fight against them.
Yes, and because they did win that 8-man tag team match, they will be facing the Street Profits for the tag team championships next week on SmackDown.
Which I feel like DOI or somebody.
Yeah, I feel like something happens there, feeds through to SummerSlam, the whole situation. You're booking your shows too closely. Spread them out a bit.
I feel like we said that 7 times already on this show.
Keeping on the tag teams, in the backstage segment before they made that 8-man tag team match, Fraxium got told that they were facing the newest tag team of Andrade and Phoenix. Mm-hmm. And this match, absolutely phenomenal. Having these
Slaps,
two teams.
as the kids would say.
Slaps. Aura farming.
Aura farming.
Never say that
Send
again.
some of the aura to Solo and his bloodline, please.
Oh, well, they had a good match. Fraxium and... the fact Fraxium lost to Andrade and Phoenix is crazy.
Well, they're definitely putting Andrade over.
Yeah, and the fact they're not just like giving us the Lucha Brothers.
They will eventually.
But let's pivot now that you mentioned Solo. I saw an interesting theory, the fact that in Solo's promo backstage, the vignette that they showed, he said that his family is now complete. But Tama Tonga wasn't there. So everyone's like, oh, Tama Tonga's going to return and he's going to turn face. No, bro, he's out injured still. Stop being stupid. You're reaching like if you were Mr. Fantastic, bro. Like, come on. That's the longest reach I've seen in my life. Because he's elastic.
Can I? Okay.
And you can.
Yeah. I got you.
Good joke,
yeah,
bro. Good joke.
Yeah. You're on fire, like the other one.
The Human Torch.
The Human Torch. I saw Santi's video during the week where he apologized for this, and I think we need to as well, as fellow content creators in the wrestling space that shit on WWE for calling Hikuleo Talatonga because he's taller. So he's the taller Tonga, right? Isn't that hilarious? Isn't that why they called him Taller Tonga?
I didn't make that connection, but sure.
Oh, well, then why did you think they call him Taller Tonga then?
So he fits in with the other dudes?
His name's Tala. So his
it's his actual name.
Actual first name is
shit.
Taula Tala Kaloamatangi. Tala Tonga. So, like, everyone that was like, oh, it's just because he's taller.
No, I never even did. One, I never made that connection. Two, I've never seen people talk about that at all.
I've seen it everywhere. Yeah. He's the taller Tonga.
That's now that I think of it, that's funny. That's funny.
But that's his actual name. So apologies to Hikuleo / Tala. And I only know how to say Kaloamatangi because that's a football player's like surname. So.
Of course you do. Of course you do. So Jacob attacks Solo at the start of the show. Nick Aldis makes a tag team match official for the main event. JC Mateo and Solo versus Jacob Fatu and a partner of his choosing, which very quickly turned out to be Jimmy Uso anyway. No yeet. And they would actually go on to win the match, by surprise. Jacob Fatu flat out pinned Solo after his amazing moonsault.
He did?
Yeah. It's clearly one of us was watching SmackDown.
Wait, no, but didn't Solo hit him with the... Oh, no, was that post-match?
That was post-match.
Oh,
I just
remember the post-match beatdown. I don't remember that.
Post-match beatdown. So, yeah, again, because of the timing, feeds through to SummerSlam.
Yes.
Feeds through to SummerSlam. Sort your shit out. Let's backtrack a bit and touch on the women before we close out the show. Tiffy,
let's
as we
our
talked...
sentences better, Reece.
What?
Never mind. Keep moving.
Touch on the women. I'm not touching the women. Touching on...
I've now just made it awkward. I apologise.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah.
Tiffy gets interrupted by Jade as she's about to make her decision for Evolution. Yeah, wasn't the best. But I popped for Trish.
I popped for Trish because like we said at the start of this show.
Who else?
What else are you going to do?
What else are you going to do?
It makes sense. That's fine. Her to call a shot, that's okay. But what really was awkward to me was that after it,
the backstage
Trish
promo.
walks backstage and Jade walks out and goes, well, good for you getting a title shot. But, you know, when
I can see you getting a title shot. And like, you just in the ring, bro. You could tell that was like a pre-filmed and then they filmed the in-ring segment.
It was backwards.
It did not flow at all.
No.
But then Jade gets attacked by Naomi with her brand new custom briefcase.
Mm-hmm.
You should have proceeded with caution. And then
she's really trying to get that line over, man. She's really trying.
That's all she's got at the moment. Naomi versus Jade had been made official for Evolution. No holds barred.
And I think that is where you will have Jade finally beat Naomi again. Their feud is done. I'm finished with you.
And then that feeds into the SummerSlam theory. Boom, done.
And she cashes in on her. Yeah.
That's pretty much all we've got to talk about this week. I don't know. Shall we just wrap it up there, folks?
I mean, we skipped completely over NXT, but both of us watched the highlights for it.
Oh, look, nothing overly interesting is happening in NXT to me. I think I haven't watched NXT probably since pre-Japan, maybe a couple of weeks ago. So I'm not fully up to scratch on everything. The tag team match set for Great American Bash between Fallon Henley and JC Jane versus Blake Monroe and Jordan Grace should be pretty interesting.
Yep.
We've then got JC Jane and Jordan Grace fighting at Evolution next week. So that also, they're pulling double duty next weekend.
Yep, they are doing Evolution and the American Bash.
Yeah, props to them.
The one I did want to touch on, which we mentioned, was the AAA show. So it is on the 11th of July.
Oh, Jesus.
So that's the Friday. And then you've got your Saturday night's main event. Then you've got Evolution.
I'm not watching everything. I'm sorry.
It's Mr. Iguana.
I have a life, bro.
It's Mr. Iguana. He's got an iguana.
I don't care.
It's Mr. Iguana.
I have to bounty prep in Destiny.
He's got an iguana.
Good on him. But all joking aside.
And La Hydra against Santino and Lola Vice.
Oh, La Hydra.
You sure you don't want to watch at least that
I love
match?
La Hydra. She's thick. Thicker than a Snicker.
Does she have an iguana?
No, but she's got a title belt.
So does he. Pretty sure they're the AAA Mixed Tag Team Champions.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that was a thing.
There's so many title belts we all forget about, like the Ring of Honor Trios titles.
We were just talking in Discord prior to starting filming that the title situation for AEW is pretty abysmal at the moment. The AEW Trios tag titles should be defunct, retire them. You've had the last 2 champions not defend the belts for months at a time. If that's not evidence enough that you need to get rid of those titles, I don't know what it is.
Do you know who the Ring of Honor Trios titles are?
Completely forgot that they were even a thing because I thought they retired them and merged them with the Trios, which then apparently they unmerged them, and then Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs, like...
Just give it to the fucking Mr. Boom and the Rizzler. Make them the Trios champion. Don't you do it, okay?
We're going to wrap it up there, folks. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Down Under the Mat. Mr. Dan Danielson, thank you for your time today.
Most welcome.
I've been Rowdy Roddy Reece. Get ready for everything coming up in the next week, folks. We are going to be swimming in wrestling content. It's too much, to be honest.
Well,
too much.
Enjoy more of it because we're going to put our videos out next week, wrapping all the shows up for you.
So, wrapping 1 show up.
2 shows up. Maybe 3 shows up.
Nah. We'll see.
4 shows up.
Maybe
5 shows up.
Maybe we'll bless you guys with more content. Who knows? Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next time. Down Under the Mat. Too sweet.